Has religion brought more good to the African society, or has it brought more harm? Join us in a wide intellectual discourse as our speakers answer this question today. In today's discourse, we have two speakers: Christopher Umoikam, studying pharmacy at the University of Uyo, and Muzafa Abdurrashid Mohammed, studying electrical and electronics engineering at the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology. Both speakers will be answering the question: has religion brought more good to the African society, or has it brought more harm? So without wasting much time, let us listen to Christopher, our first speaker, as he approaches this topic. Christopher, you have the floor.
Walk through any African city and you see a church, a mosque, or a shrine on the same street. Has that made us stronger together or weaker apart? Before we take sides, we need to look into the mirror. And when we do, one question stares back at us. Has religion brought more good to African society, or has it brought more harm? I remain Moikam Christopher Endurance, a 200-level pharmacy student at the University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Religion in Africa is woven into the very fabric of our daily lives, such that you can't talk about family, politics, education, or even business without faith showing up somewhere. Over time, religion became both comfort and controversy. You hear Nigeria say things like what God cannot do does not exist, because faith is what the people run to when the state fails them. One major harm scholars point to is how religion has caused division in African society. Sociologist Ruth Marshall in Political Spiritualities documented how Pentecostal Christianity has created a new moral community, but also a new division, that is the born again versus the worldly, which has fractured many families and neighborhoods. Politically, religion has been weaponized. The 1987 Kafanchan religious riots and later Jos crisis showed how sermons and political mobilization could cause violence between Muslims and Christians, with thousands killed over decades. There is also exploitation. The rise of prosperity preaching, as described by scholar Asonze Uka in a new worldview of Pentecostal power, brought about charity, but also financial exploitation, where vulnerable people were asked to sow seed for miracles. Yet, even with these harms, religion has provided the safety net the state fails to give schools, hospitals, food banks, etc. In Africa, Islam and Christianity are not just religions, but public identities rooted in region, history, and politics. Scholar Alexander Thurston in Salafism in Nigeria noted that both faiths accuse each other of either trying to Islamize or Christianize Nigeria, especially during election where candidates are judged by faith. Some examples include the 2000 Sharia protests, the 2011 post-election violence, and the ongoing attack by Boko Haram, which targeted both Muslims and Christians but framed itself as defending the Muslims. In conclusion, religion in Africa has not brought more harm than good. Yes, we have seen the negative, but we can't scrape up the positive. The reason it seems the negative is prevailing is simple: bad news travels faster. Hospitals built by churches, scholarships from mosques, and food given to widows don't make the headlines, but one scandal does. In order to feel the impact of the positive, we need to separate faith from exploitation. The Bible in James 2 verse 17 says, faith without work is dead. Even the Quran in Surah Al-Asr chapter 103 verse 1 to 3 says, by time, indeed man is in loss, except for those who have believed and done righteous deeds. Also, religious leaders must preach accountability and not fear. And lastly, we must return religion to its original duty, building the community and not dividing it. In the end, religion in Africa is not the problem. The problem is how we choose to use it. If we use it to feed, build, and unite, then religion will remain Africa's greatest strength and not our weakness. Thank you.
Great presentation, Christopher. That was Christopher from the University of Uyo. So let us listen to Muzafa, our second speaker. Muzafa, over to you.
Good day, distinguished judges and my listening audience. My name is Muzaffar Abdurrashid Mohammed, and I'm a contestant in this competition. Africa is a continent where faith is found in almost every home and community. But this brings us to an important question. Has religion brought more good to African society, or has it brought more harm? My answer is clear. Religion has brought more good than harm to Africa, but only when it is practiced with wisdom, tolerance, and love. Firstly, religion has helped to build the moral foundation of our society. It teaches values such as honesty, kindness, forgiveness, and respect. For millions of Africans, faith gives hope during difficult times, and remind us that we are responsible for how we treat one another. Secondly, religion has contributed to Africa's development. Across the continent, religious organizations have established schools, hospitals, orphanages, and charity programs. A good example is the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, which has established schools and hospitals in several African countries and has supported communities through humanitarian and educational projects. This effort shows that religion can go beyond preaching and become a practical force for improving people's life. But here is the important point. The problem is not the faith itself. The problem is the misuse of faith. A knife can be used to prepare food or to cause harm. The knife is not the problem, it is how it is used. The same can be said about religion. Therefore, Africa does not need less religion. Africa needs better practice of religion. A faith that promotes peace instead of hatred, unity instead of division, service instead of greed, and development instead of ignorance. In conclusion, religion has brought more good than harm to African society, but its greatest power will only be seen when we stop using religion to separate ourselves and start using it to serve humanity. Because at the end of the day, the true measure of our faith is not how loudly we preach, but how much good we do. Thank you.
Great presentation, Muzaffar. Ladies and gentlemen, you've listened to our two great speakers, Christopher from the University of Uyo and Muzaffar from the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology. You agree with me that both of them have spoken very well, but we have to decide who will win this particular competition. So who do you want between the two speakers to win the competition? Do you want Christopher to win it, or do you want Muzaffar to win it? Let us know in the comment section and let us know your reason for supporting a particular speaker. And as usual, after 5 days, the scores from the public and the one from the panel of independent judges will be calculated and the winner will be announced. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.